Sisters, ladies and gentlemen, students and scholars, teachers and trainers, listeners and learners, from the field of arts, commerce, science and engineering, the most honorable President Dr. SinghModi ji, respected ministers and doctors, honorable advocates, advertisers, administrators and advisors, Reverend fathers and mothers, dear friends, I Dr.RK from USA, heartily cordially welcome all of you. Today, your presence is praiseworthy, admirable and appreciable. You are listening and watching the truth, science to spirituality, language to literature. Dear friends, our human body, which is the greatest gift of God, naturally, spontaneously, we are provided this golden time in this human body for the reunification, for reuniting with the super spiritual power of God, which is the ultimate aim, goal of our life. What is the true and last aim of this life? That is to get salvation, emancipation from the cycle of birth and death. Dear friends, how we can get maximum from this human body, from our precious and valuable breaths that are given by God, how we can make it more and more useful, beneficial, advantageous, meritorious for our personal, professional, national and social life. Believe you can succeed and you will. As per the thoughts of Swami Vivekananda, success is the name of continuity and regularity. Without keeping any desire, without expecting anything more than doings, a man should unrelentingly, unstoppingly, untiringly should keep on to achieve success. Success, according to Swami Vivekananda, is not any platform, but success is the name of continuity and regularity. There are different views behind success. Success means many wonderful, positive thinking. Wonderful, positive things. If we are positive to do anything, then wonderfully that expresses the results and outcomes that become our success. Success means personal prosperity. It's not the professional prosperity, it's not the public prosperity, but first it is personal prosperity, which is more related to the personality of the person. individuality, a fine home, vacations, travel, new things, financial security, giving your children maximum advantages. Success means winning, admiration, leadership, being looked up to by people in your business and social life. Success means freedom. One factor which is very important that become the cause of success, that brings success, that is freedom. If we are free, if our soul is free from negativities, from false affection, ego, avariciousness, anger, erotic, then automatically it can be considered that we have taken up the first step of success. Dear friends, let's keep in our mind success means winning, admiration, leadership, being looked up to by people in your business and social life. Success means freedom. Freedom from worries, fears, frustrations, and failure. Success means self-respect. One thing that is the symbol of success is self-respect, self-esteem. Continually finding more real happiness and satisfaction from life, being able to do more those who depend on you. Success means winning. Dear friends, as you have listened from 3M Creator YouTube channel, winning means continuity. Winner is he who become the part of the answer, not part of problem. It is said, winner is always play the role of thermostat, not work like as a thermometer. Dear friends, as you know that success, achievement is the goal of life. How we can win, as we have celebrated this festival last month, which was a symbol of good over evil, Deepavali. On this festival, we have celebrated in the form of welcoming, inviting Lord Rama after exile, likely that moment, such moments happen all time in our life, and we are to get rid from evils, disease, infirmities, frustrations, depressions. Dear friends, everybody wants the best this life can deliver. Nobody enjoys crawling, living in mediocrity. No one likes feeling second class and feeling forced to go that way. Some of the most practical success building wisdom is found in that biblical quotation stating that faith can move mountains. Through the Holy Scripture of the Bible, we read this thing that every man, a man who has become the strong believer, ardent believer, faithful believer, follower, devotee, can move mountains. How it can become possible? But it can become possible. Imagination is the greatest and superb kind of educational technology for spending the successful life in our age, in this present age. Believe, really believe, you can move a mountain, and you can. Not many people believe that they can move mountains. So, as a result, not many people do. On some occasion, you have probably heard someone say something like, it's nonsense to think you can make a mountain move away just by saying, mountain, move away. It's simply impossible. People who think this way have belief confused with wishful thinking. You can't wish yourself into an executive suit, nor can you wish yourself into a 5-bedroom, 3-bathhouse or the high-income brackets. You can't wish yourself into a position of leadership. But you can move a mountain with belief, with your imagination, with your creativity of your mind, with your strong faith. You can win success by believing you can succeed. There is nothing magical nor mystical about the power of belief. Belief works this way. Believe that I am positive, I can. Attitude generates the power, skill, and energy needed to do. When you believe I can do it, the how to do it dwells. Dear friends, the idea which comes first, one idea, one nation, one man, can bring revolutionary and visionary change in our life. It can become possible every day, all over the nation. Young people start working in new jobs. Each of them wishes that someday he could enjoy the success that goes with reaching the top. But the majority of these young people simply don't have the belief that it takes to reach the top rungs. And they don't reach the top. Believing it's impossible to climb high, they do not discover the steps that lead to great heights. Their behavior remains that of the average person. But a small number of these young people really believe they will succeed. They approach their work with the I am going to the top attitude. And with substantial belief, they reach the top, believing they will succeed. And that is not impossible. These folks study and observe the behavior of senior executives. They learn how successful people approach problems and make decisions. They observe the attitudes of successful people. Dear friends, In our holy religions, we see the power of celibacy in the statue of Hanumanji, in the statue of Swami Vivekananda, statue of unity, Vallabhbhai Patel, statue of Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose, in effigies of Ravana. No doubt Ravana is the symbol of evil. And on the other hand, we celebrate the winning of truth through the Lord Rama. All these pictures, photos, videos that we see, that we make, are the results and outcomes of our imagination. Is proved and changed into reality. It is the evidence from our holy scriptures we read that they were incompatible, matchless. Believing they will succeed. And that it's not impossible. These folks study and observe the behavior of senior executives. They learn how successful people approach problems and make decisions. They observe the attitudes of successful people. The how to do it always comes to the person who believes he can do it. A young woman I am acquainted with decided 2 years ago that she was going to establish a sales agency to sell mobile phones. She was advised by many that she shouldn't and couldn't do it. She had less than $3,000 in savings and was advised the minimum capital investment required was many times that. Look how competitive it is. She was advised, and besides, what practical experience have you had in selling mobile homes, let alone managing a business? Her advisors asked, but this young lady had belief in herself and her ability to succeed. She quickly admitted she lacked capital, that the business was very competitive, and that she lacked experience. But she said, all the evidence I can gather shows that the mobile home industry is going to expand. On top of that, I have studied my competition. I know I can do a better job of merchandising travelers than anybody else in the town. I expect to make some mistakes. But I'm going to be on top in a hurry. And she was, and she had little trouble getting capital. Her absolutely unquestioned belief that she could succeed with this business won her the confidence of two investors, and armed with complete belief, she did the impossible. She got a trailer manufacturer to advance her a limited inventory with no money down. Last year, she sold her $1 billion worth of trailers. Next year, she says, I expect to gross over $2 billion. Belief. Strong belief triggers the mind to figuring ways and means and how to. And believing you can succeed makes others place confidence in you. Do not put much stock in belief, but the residents of successful village, USA do. Just a few weeks ago, a friend who is an official with a state highway department in a Midwestern state related to a mountain moving experience to me. Last month, my friend began. Our department sent notices to a number of engineering companies that we were authorized to retain some firm to design 8 bridges as part of our highway building program. The bridges were to be built at a cost of $5 million. The engineering firm selected would get a 4% commission or $200,000 for its design work. I talked with 21 engineering firms about this. The 4 largest decided right away to submit proposals. The other 17 companies were small, having only 3 to 7 engineers each. The size of the project scared off 16 of these 17. They went over the project, shook their heads, and said in effect, "It's too big for us. I thought we could handle it, but it's no use even trying." But one of these small firms, a company with only 3 engineers, studied the plan and said, "We can do it. We will submit a proposal." They did, and they got the job. Those who believe they can move mountains do. Those who believe they cannot. Belief triggers the power to do. Actually, in the modern times, belief is doing much bigger things than moving mountains. The most essential element, in fact, the essential element in our space explorations today is belief that space can be mastered. Without firm, unwavering belief that man can travel in space, our scientists would not have the courage, interest, and enthusiasm to proceed. Belief that cancer can be cured will ultimately produce cures for cancer. Some years ago, there was talk of building a tunnel under the English Channel to connect England with the continent. The fact that this tunnel is now complete depended on whether responsible people believed it could be built. Belief in great results is the driving force. The power behind all great books, plays, scientific discoveries. Belief in success is behind every successful business, church, and political organizations. Belief in success is the one basic, absolutely essential ingredient in successful people. Really believe you can succeed and you will. Over the years, I have talked with many people who have failed to business, wealth, and in various careers. I have heard a lot of reason and excuses for failures. Something especially significant unfolds as conversations with failures develop. In a casual sort of way, the failures drops a remark like, "To tell the truth, I didn't think it would work," or "I had my misgivings before I even stared out. Or actually, I wasn't too surprised that it didn't work out. The okay, I'll give it a try, but I don't think attitude produces failures. Disbelief is negative power. When the mind disbelieves or doubts, the mind attracts reasons to support the disbelief. Doubt, disbelief, the subconscious will do fail. The Lord, really wanting to succeed, is responsible for most failures. Think doubts and fail. Think victory and succeed. A young fiction writer talked with me recently about her writing ambitions. The name of one of the top writers in her field came up. Oh, she said, Mr. X is a wonderful writer, but of course I can't be nearly as successful as he is. Her attitude disappointed me very much because I know the writer mentioned he is not super intelligent, nor super prospective, nor super anything else except super confident. He believes he is among the best, and so he acts and performs the best. It is well to respect the leader. Learn from him, observe him, study him, but don't worship him. Believe you can surpass, believe you can go beyond. Those who harbor the second best attitude are invariably second best doers. Look at it this way. Belief is the thermostat that regulates what we accomplish in life. Study the fellow who is shuffling down there in mediocrity. He believes he is worth little, so he receives little. He believes he can't do big things, and he doesn't. He believes he is unimportant, so everything he does has an unimportant mark. As time goes by, lack of belief in himself shows in the ways the fellow talks, walks, acts, unless he readjusts his thermostat forward. He shrinks, grows smaller and smaller in his own estimation, and since others see in us what we see in ourselves, he grows smaller in the estimation of the people around him. Now look across the way at the person who is advancing forward. He believes he is worth much, and he receives much. He believes he can handle big, difficult assignments, and he does. Everything he does, the way he handles himself with people, his character, his thoughts, his viewpoints, all say, here is a professional. He is an important person. A person is a product of his own thoughts. Believe big. Adjust your thermostat forward. Launch your success offensive with honest, sincere belief that you can succeed. Believe big and grow big. Several years ago, after addressing a group of businessmen in Detroit, I talked with one of the gentlemen who approached me, introduced himself and said, I really enjoyed your talk. Can you spare a few minutes I would like very much to discuss a personal experience with you in a few minutes. We were comfortably seated in a coffee shop waiting for some refreshments. I have a personal experience, he began, that ties in perfectly with what you said this evening about making your mind work for you instead of letting it work against you. I have never explained to anyone how I lifted myself out of the world of mediocrity, but I would like to tell you about it. And I would like to hear it, I said. Well, just 5 years ago, I was plodding along, just another guy working in the tool and die trade. I made a decent living by average standards, but it was far from ideal. Our home was much too small, and there was no money for those many things we wanted. My wife, bless her, didn't complain much, but it was written all over her that she was more resigned to her fate than she was happy. Inside, I grew more and more dissatisfied when I let myself see how I was failing my good wife and two children. I really hurt inside. But today, things are really different. My friend continued. Today we have a beautiful new home on a 2-acre lot and a year-round cabin a couple 100 miles north of here. There is no more worry about whether we can send the kids to a good college, and my wife no longer has to feel guilty every time she spends money for some new clothes. Next summer, the whole family is flying to Europe to spend a month's holiday. We are really living. How did this all happen? I asked. It's all happened, he continued, when to use the phrase you used tonight. I harnessed the power of belief. 5 years ago, I learned about a job with a tool and die company here in Detroit. We were living in Cleveland at the time. I decided to look into it, hoping I could make a little more money. I got here early on Sunday evening, but the interview was not until Monday. After dinner, I sat down in my hotel room, and for some reason, I got really disgusted with myself. Why, I asked myself, am I just a middle class failure? Why am I trying to get a job that represents such a small step forward? I don't know. I don't know to this day what prompted me to do it. But I took a sheet of hotel stationery and wrote down the names of 5 people I have known well for several years who had far surpassed me in earning power and job-related responsibilities. 2 were former neighbors who had moved away to find subdivisions. 2 others were fellows I had worked for, and the third was a brother-in-law. Next again, I don't know what made me do this. I asked myself, what do my 5 friends have that I don't have besides better jobs? I compared myself with them on intelligence, but I honestly couldn't see what that they excelled in the brains department, nor could I truthfully say they had me beat on education, integrity, or personal habits. Finally, I got down to another success quality. One hears a lot about initiative. Here I heard to admit it, but I had to. On this point, my record showed I was far below that of my successful friends. It was now about 3 a.m., but my mind was astonishingly clear. I was seeing my weak point for the first time. I discovered that I had held back. I had always carried a little stick. I dug into myself deeper and deeper and found the reason I lacked initiative was because I didn't believe inside that I was worth very much. I sat there the rest of the night just reviewing how lack of faith in myself had dominated me ever since I could remember. How I had used my mind to work against myself. I found I had been preaching to myself why I couldn't get ahead instead of why I could. I had been selling myself short. I found this streak of self-depreciation short. Then it dawned on me that no one else was going to believe in me until I believed in myself. Right then I decided, I am through feeling second class. From here on in, I am not going to sell myself short. Next morning, I still had that confidence. In the interview, I gave my newfound confidence its first test. Before coming for the interview, I had hoped I would have courage to ask for $750 or maybe even $1,000 more than my present job was paying. But now, after realizing I was a valuable man, I upped it up to $3,500 and I got it myself, because after that one long night of self-analysis I found things in myself that made me a lot more saleable. Within 2 years after I took that job, I had established a reputation as the fellow who can get business. Then we went into a recession. This made me still more valuable because I was one of the best business getters in the industry. The company was reorganized, and I was given a substantial amount of stock plus a lot more pay. Believe in yourself, and good things do start happening. Your mind is a thought factory. It's a busy factory, producing countless thoughts in one day. Production in your thought factory is under the charge of 2 4 men, one of whom we will call Mr. Triumph and the other Mr. Defeat. Mr. Triumph is in charge of manufacturing positive thoughts. He specializes in producing reasons why you can, why you are qualified, why you will. The other 4 men, Mr. Defeat, produces negative, depreciating thoughts. He is your expert in developing reasons why you can't, why you are weak, why you are inadequate. His specialty is the why you will fail chain of thoughts. Both Mr. Triumph and Mr. Defeat are intentionally obedient. They snap to attention immediately. All you need to do, signal either 4 men is to give the slightest mental back and call. If the signal is positive, Mr. Triumph will step forward and go to work. A negative signal brings Mr. Defeat forward to see how these 4 men work for you. Try this example. Tell yourself, today is a lousy day. This signal Mr. Defeat into action, and he manufactures some facts to prove you are right. He suggests you that it's too hot or it's too cold. Business will be bad today. Sales will drop. Other people will be on edge. You may get sick. Your wife will be in a fussy mood. Mr. Defeat is tremendously efficient. In just a few moments, he has got you sold. It is a bad day. Before you know it, it is a back of a bad day. It is a hack of a bad day. But tell yourself today is a fine day and Mr. Triumph is signaled forward to act. He tells you this is a wonderful day. The weather is refreshing. It's good to be alive. Today you can catch up on some of your work and then it is a good day. In like fashion, Mr. Defeat can show you why you can't sell Mr. Smith. Mr. Triumph will show you that you can. Mr. Defeat will convince you that you will fail, while Mr. Triumph will demonstrate why you will succeed. Mr. Defeat will prepare a brilliant case against Tom, while Mr. Triumph will show you more reasons why you like Tom. Now, the more work you give either of these two foemen, the stronger he becomes. If Mr. Defeat is given more work to do, he adds personal and takes up more space in your mind. Eventually, he will take over the entire thought manufacturing division and virtually all thought will be of a negative nature. The only wise thing to do is fire Mr. Defeat. You don't need him. You don't want him around telling you that you can't. You aren't up to it. You will fail and so on. Mr. Defeat won't help you get where you want to go. So boot him out. Use Mr. Triumph 100% of the time. When any thought enters your mind, ask Mr. Triumph to go to work for you. He'll show you how you can succeed. Between now and tomorrow at this time, another 11,500 new consumers will have made their grand entry into the USA. Population is growing at a record rate. In the next 10 years, the increase is conservatively estimated at 35 million. That's equal to the present combined metropolitan population of our 5 biggest cities: New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, Detroit, and Philadelphia. Imagine new industries, new scientific breakthroughs, expanding markets, all spell opportunity. This is good news. This is a most wonderful time to be alive. All signs point to a record demand for top level people in every field. People who have superior ability to influence others, to direct their work, to serve them in a leadership capacity, and the people who will fill these leadership positions are all adults or near adults. Right now, one of them is you. The guarantee of a boom is not, of course, a guarantee of personal success. Over the long pull, the US has always been booming, but just a fast glance shows that millions and millions of people, in fact, a majority of them, struggle but don't really succeed. The majority of folk still plug along in mediocrity despite the record opportunity of the last 2 decades. And in the boom period ahead, most people will continue to worry, to be afraid, to crawl through life feeling unimportant, unappreciated, not able to do what they want to do. As a result, their performance will earn them petty reward, petty happiness. Those who convert opportunity into reward, and let me say, I sincerely believe you are one of those, else you are relying on luck and not bother with this book. We will be those wise people who learn how to think themselves to success. Walking. The door to success is open wider than ever before. Put yourself on record now that you are going to join that select group that is getting what it wants from life. Here is the first step towards success. It's a basic step. It can't be avoided. Step 1, believe in yourself. Believe you can succeed. How to develop the power of belief. Dear friends, your presence is praiseworthy, admirable and appreciable early in the morning today. Good morning all of you. As you are showing your presence, I admire, appreciate your holistic approach for listening the holy words of the holy scriptures, epics of our tradition, of our convention. Dear friends, you know that our Indian motherland is the land of revolutionaries, social reformers, starters, beginners, initiators of the different missions, those who came first on this land. So this land is really full of adventures and bold, brave personalities, courageous personalities, born on this land for appealing, advocating, and leading to the worldly people in all the fields. Time, our sacrificial bodies, our rulers, the present Prime Minister Modi ji, efforting well. And in this month, in the beginning of the November, we are taking so many initiatives and startups in India to make our nation stronger, higher, nicer and finer, better than before. It is really great need to keep our youngsters skilled, mannered, talented. So for that, we are well efforted. We are doing well efforts, great efforts by starting Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana, Mukhyamantri Kaushal Vikas Yojana. So these are the skills that can help, that can bring change, that can heal our youngsters for making them skillful, talented personalities of this world. As you know that with the starting of the 5G, on 1st of October, our India has brought revolutionary and visionary change in the information technology by producing many satellites that are working in the defense, are very helpful in increasing our productivity in the different fields. Dear friends, month by month, day by day, we celebrate every day with a new festival, new life. So there is no question of frustration, depression in anybody of our nation, because this soul or spirit can never be alone. It has the great power with the presence of Lord or God, whose sound and words and light we see, feel and listen in the different religious places of our country. But commonly, our aim is to admire and appreciate and to be friendly and familiar with our surroundings. So dear friends, this is the power in our words that can re-heal us, that can recover us, and we have got winning by the holy words of our present Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji. 130 crore people has got winning from this epidemic. After that, our nation is greatly needed rejuvenation, reoperation, reformation, reorganization, and regeneration can be possible only by reinforcing energy in our youth. May God bless all of you. Once again, good morning to all of you. Thanks for listening. Thanks, listeners and watchers. May God bless all of us.